Brother Rezzy, man, when you first watched Get Out and you finished the movie,
Yeah.
what would you say is the biggest thing you took away from the movie itself?
I think that it may have been one of the most interesting movies of 2017.
Mm-hmm.
In my humble opinion, I really think so, because even watching like the promo for it, just the whole, because when people do like race movies, like especially like white and black relation kind of movies,
Right.
it's either slavery or it's, I don't know, like Green Book, right? Where it's like you got the one white dude and the one black dude, and they're playing off of each other, and it's kind of fun, and some points are, like very tense. But this was interesting because it went after a group that a lot of people wouldn't perceive as particularly racist.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not blatantly racist. Going after white liberals in the suburbs was just a very interesting kind of target to tell this race relation story, and I think that's what stuck out to me the most while watching it, because I live in a suburb that's predominantly white, and
Mm-hmm.
I've had some of those moments where it's like, oh, basketball, or,
Yeah.
oh, like this, you know what I mean, like.
Yeah, I definitely know what you mean, bro.
Asian people get it too. Oh, anime. Oh, this and that, right?
Yeah, bro.
Hamana, right?
Yeah.
And Latin people get together, right?
Yeah.
Salsa music, and they try to associate things, that they see from those cultures. And Josh, am I cool to say whatever, like, I want to say, like, in terms of vulgarity and profanity?
I mean, yeah, bro. The mic is yours.
Okay. I mean, sadly, what a lot of people who don't interact with, black people, or just minorities in general,
Mm-hmm.
minorities of the brown complexion,
Mm-hmm.
People of melanin,
Mm-hmm.
you see a lot of is, these mumble idiots talking about, I got a house, I got a bitch, I got a, you know what I'm saying? And that archetype is what they only see from us.
That's true. That is true.
W.E.B. Du Bois, or Dubois, I forget how to say his name, sociologist, author. He always, he had a phenomenon called double consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
That black people have, specifically, and it's that we understand who we are, but we also understand how, society sees us as a people.
That's true.
And the fact that we look a certain way, we understand how we're to be perceived, even though we might not be that way, which is what I think that's what Get Out really played on.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's how it got held to such a high regard, because nobody goes after white, liberals in the burbs like that,
Mm-hmm. Jordan Peele, man, extreme shout out to him, man.
Absolutely.
He took the film to places that a lot of what you touched on, like I always say, like the people in the comment section say, "Oh, you just say what he says." Shut up. He took the film to places I really didn't think I wouldn't necessarily say he wasn't bold enough to take it to. I just wasn't expecting him to take it as far as he did, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
No, absolutely. Makes perfect sense. Because you gotta think about your audience, and people give Snyder a lot of crap about this too.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, oh, you're making a cinematic universe, you gotta cater to normies and that, and that's the thing. He wasn't making a cinematic universe. That was never the plan.
Right.
So with Jordan Peele, going as deep and as far as he did with the film, especially in that alternate ending.
Mm.
By the way, is how I thought the film was gonna end when it was reaching like, the resolution in that.
Right.
I don't know how to feel about them not going with that initially. But I don't know. That's that's a whole other question. But no, I completely agree with you, 100%.
Okay. Now, I initially didn't think about this until much later on, and her character truly was a fascinating one in the movie, and the words manipulation, seduction, they both tie into her character, and I especially associate her name with the idea, the rose on first look, the rose is beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Absolutely.
It's red. It's beautiful. But if you look closely, the rose also has thorns. And let me ask you this, Rezzy. Now, with Rose, in regards to her character, especially after multiple viewings, would you say that it's easy to see how it was basically all a setup?
Yeah, because the thing about I wouldn't categorize. I was surprised while watching it the second time because, not to say I forgot it, but I forgot a lot of like plot points and character names, and over time, a movie, as you see more movies, you forget some of the other stuff from other movies, right?
Right.
But it was just a good thriller, like The Sixth Sense, right? Like with the whole reveal of a spoiler alert for a movie that came out 20 years ago, but when Bruce Willis was dead at the end of Sixth Sense, like, and you rewatch the movie, like it makes perfect sense in the context of what you're watching. Like there's that scene of his character, and I forgot who the leading lady was. I'm blanking on her name, but we see them sitting together in two chairs. Like she doesn't acknowledge him. Right? They don't even talk, but we assume that two people sitting next to each other, right? Would recognize that. One recognizes the other, and the other, recognizes the other person, but that's not the case. So with her, even as you said, even in her name, right? The rose being pretty, but also, having those thorns, right?
Right.
Like, watching it a second time, keeping that in mind, you can definitely see those seeds being planted, for the rest of the movie.
I agree. Now, Rezzy, this is the part where if by now people aren't uncomfortable, they're really, really about to get uncomfortable. And as I say to all my brethren that collab with me on these videos, I want you to go all the way the fuck in. And that question is, why was Get Out so successful at showing some of the ways race makes individuals uncomfortable to you?
Okay. When it came out, I didn't think it was gonna get the praise, nor the recognition that it deserved. Right, like if you look at the marketing, it's very much played up to be like this horror movie, right? When it's really a psych thriller, with subtext about, racism and slavery and, all of those major themes that play out in the movie. But this is such an interesting question. I think that the people, it won Best Picture in 2017, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
No, Shape of Water won Best Picture. Jordan Peele won Best Director.
That's right. He won Best Picture. Okay.
But it was nominated for Best Picture, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but the fact that they even considered, like, that means so much because, the Academy is run by
Jews.
A lot of, I'm sorry?
Jews.
Yeah, like a lot of older Jewish people, right? Who made it big in the industry before and, take their seat in those higher ups, but the fact that they could look at that and see, from the other perspective, using a psych thriller as a lens on this real world kind of, on these real world ideas and perspectives and such, for them to recognize that, to be humble enough to say, like, this is a work of art, and yeah, they're kind of getting at us, but, I think we need it. And I don't know, I can really appreciate that. Like, the fact that, they'd be willing to consider, this piece of art in that regard, even though it's weird. It subtly and blatantly attacks white suburbia. It blatantly does it in the context of the viewing, but it subtly does it in the movie. But no, it's baffling to me that it even got, the amount of recognition that it did.
Yeah,
but in a good way.
Yeah. And shout out to Jordan Peele. Extreme shout out to brother Daniel Kaluuya, man. He's a really great actor, honestly. I saw him in.
He's very talented.
Yeah, I saw him in Widows. He was really, really good in that as well.
I saw that too. Yeah, that's right. He was in that.
Yeah, that was a really good movie. Now let me ask you this. Speaking of brother Daniel, brother Rezzy. Yeah. And this question might make you laugh, but there's a reason I'm not gonna really say why I'm asking it, but I just want to get it out there. Sure. Is Chris the hero of Get Out or the light on his cell phone?
One more time?
Is Chris the hero of Get Out or is the light on his cell phone?
From a literary perspective, I would have to say Chris, but when it comes down to it, I think the light would be the more practical answer. As well as he's in so many movies. The guy, the TSA guy.
Yeah, Laurel Howery. I'm motherfucking TSA.
Yeah. That was great.
Yeah.
No, but I think he's definitely. I feel like Chris is definitely the protagonist, but yeah, TSA guy's definitely, with the cell phone light. I think those are the two main heroes of the movie, because he got himself into this shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he could have. I don't think by any means could he have known, right? But they were living together, right? Like, is it possible that there were like any other signs? And this is me like completely just, fanboy derailing right now. But if you're dating somebody, you know what I mean, and you pick up on you're with somebody, you're bound to pick up quirks and stuff that they're interested in and all that kind of stuff. Do you think that he could have possibly picked up on who she really was, or who he could have thought she possibly is? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's an interesting question, because I think the thing for me when you talk about that, I think it was her eagerness. It was her eagerness to get him to meet the family, and that I initially didn't notice upon first viewing. Like the first time I saw it in that crowded ass theater, I was like, okay, right. She just wants the fucking dude to meet her family, and I'm like, and going back, I was like, there's no absolute way. I thought at the time there was no absolute way that she knows about this shit, but lo and behold, she fucking is the fucking one of the prime orchestrators of the shit. You get me?
Exactly.
So
that's really cool to have like the undercover villain.
Yeah.
The entirety of like, I don't know. I feel like there are other um, works in media that do that, but I feel like Get Out did it exceptionally.
Mm. Yeah, Get Out turned 2 years old a few weeks ago, along with Logan. Both really great movies, man. Now
Absolutely.
let me ask you this, brother Rezzy, and this is something I've also thought long about, but I don't really. Honestly, I'm kind of split on it. When you look at the Armitage family as a whole, what do they represent to you? Because I see some people say, and I can kind of agree to a degree, that they're the oppressor, but at the same time, I'm like, well, I don't necessarily think it's that. I think they just want. It kind of ties into that phrase I hear a lot, wanting what they can't have. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Sure.
What's your thoughts on the Armitage family and what they represent, bruv?
I think they represent white guilt. And they talk about. I remember, not to get completely political, but I remember being in school in diversity.
Mm-hmm.
Because I want to get both sides of the aisle in regards to politics. All the diversity and inclusion stuff is very left. They're leftist organizations and such.
Mm-hmm.
But when Trump won the election, the lead. Like, I think his title was like counselor or administrator or something, but the leader of the group, right, he said, this is a white lash to Obama. It's like, you got 8 years of this, now it's our turn. And it's like, they could represent that as well, but there were multiple allusions in the movie to, having for lack of better terms, to keep this as, PG-13 soft R as possible, like, having a BBC, right? And
yeah, bro.
Like running fast and jumping high, like black people to these white folks is like the $6 million man. You're impressed, I'm 18 and I know about that, but yeah, like I don't know. I feel like it's guilt and it's also white jealousy in a sense, because the way the family operates. They talk about all these black heroes, and they think they're surrounded by black, but they're not. That's just what they want. That's just what they want to be, right? Like almost like they're like a cultural leech. You know what I mean? I've never really thought about what that family represents. In that regard, but you getting me thinking about it. Yeah, really has me thinking.
Especially what you touched on with I ain't trying to brag, but the fascination with the bunker, the BBC, the fascination with black males, running fast, jumping high. We had a stereotype that we can dance good, we're funny, we're confident, we're this and we're that, and
that's all positive.
Yeah. I can agree, but yeah, that white guilt, man, that's something I haven't really thought of in terms of it. I just thought they were really fucking twisted fucking family, especially with that motherfucker towards the end wanting to take Chris's eyes. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? But that's another that's another section. Now let's talk a little bit more about Get Out, brother Rezzy. And you talked about this earlier, but I want to give some clarification for the people listening.
Absolutely.
Is Get Out a horror to you or a thriller with comedic elements? Because the reason I ask that is because a lot of people in the theater were laughing when at the scene when Chris stabbed the fucking father with the beer buck head and everything.
That shit was pretty funny.
So
I'm not gonna front. That was pretty funny. Just the way that it happened.
Yeah. If you had to, if this was a word, genreify, Get Out, what would you classify it as?
I would classify it as a psych thriller with good pacing, and its fair share of comedic beats that don't fall flat. With a few jump scares, right? So if people are weird. My dad, for example, he'll I asked him to watch it with me, and he said, "Hell no," because he doesn't do horror movies. And I told him, I said, "Well, it's not a horror movie, it's a psych thriller." And I asked him, like, you love Silence of the Lambs, right? He's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Well, I think you're going to enjoy this. I mean, there's a few more jump scares in this than Silence, but it's still, I'd classify those more similarly than I would classify Get Out with something like the Conjuring movies, or you know what I mean?
A little bit. I got you. Okay. Now let me ask you this, Rezzy. Now, with and again, you talked about this earlier. I was like, shit, I wanted to ask that at the very end, but we still gonna talk about it anyway.
Sure.
Something I've long thought about with the movie, I was like, if you apply realism to the scenario with the way that the movie ended, especially with the cops fucking pulling up and Sleeping Beauty with blood coming out of her mouth in the driveway, a black dude with his hands up and everything.
Yep.
Realistically speaking, we all know how this scenario is either gonna go one or two ways. Either one, dude is probably gonna get his ass shot in the middle of the woods, or two, they just gonna do what they did in the alternate ending, and
just put him away.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I've thought even now. I've thought about long and hard. Did Jordan make the right choice with the happier, more hopeful ending, or do you think that he should have kept the alternate ending as the official ending for the movie?
By no means am I one to. By no means am I trying to depress people in what I'm about to say.
Go ahead. I'm sure it's a lot of people fucking just saying, "Oh, Josh Samuel, I didn't know you were racist, bro." All my friends are white. All my friends are white. I love all y'all equally. This ain't a race video. This is just a discussion. Calm your butt cheeks. But go ahead, brother.
I think they should have gone with the alternate. I don't think they should have gone as far as to shoot him. Like if there's an alternate ending where they just pop him center mass and one in the face. It ends with a big blong and that's it. Roll credits, right? I mean, that have people God damn, holy shit.
Yeah.
But I mean, that'd be cool too. I feel like that, as well as the other two endings, could exist. You know what I mean? As what ifs. But I feel like the alternate ending, not the theoretical one I just came up with, but the established alternate ending, I feel like should be the official ending. But that doesn't mean that I don't like, the canon ending. I just feel like the alternate one is, again, as you said, more realistic.
Okay, I guess.
That's just a sad reality, but...
Yeah, it definitely is. Brother Rezzy, let me ask you this. Now, I'm sure you've seen the trailers for the movie Us.
Yep.
And as expected, especially coming off of his last film, Get Out, there's been a lot of speculation, a lot of rumors about what the film will be about. And one common thing I've been hearing from different people is that the movie will be about, us, the people. You know what I'm saying? But what I want to ask you is, do you think the movie will be about us as the people, or us as in the United States?
I feel like it's going to be us as in the people.
Mm.
I wouldn't mind if it was either or, but just I feel like it's going to be more. I feel like it's going to be more nuclear as opposed to being a commentary on America, because we had that with Get Out, right? We've Jordan has already touched on that. I feel like this time around he's going to talk about possibly stuff like black on black crime and, you know, what we can do as the black community to, you know, put ourselves, you know, more up and, you know, drag us out of where we're at, you know, a little bit. And do it in a productive and, you know, fashionable manner.
Okay. Now let me ask you this.
Sure.
Do you feel that the movie will be something of a spiritual successor to Get Out as opposed to like a quiet sequel like Split was to Unbreakable?
Yeah, I don't know if Jordan Peele's trying to start a cinematic universe,
you
know, in black social commentary. That'd be cool. That'd be really great, but I don't. I'm not sure if they're gonna. I'm not sure if he's gonna do that. So I don't know. I feel like it'd be good both ways. I feel like it'd be okay either way. You know what I mean? Like the quiet, right? Like Split to Unbreakable, or, you know, if he wanted to say, you know, meanwhile with this, you know, in this other part of, you know, America, this is going on.
Right.
You know, in the world of Get Out, right? Like, I feel like he could go either way about it, if that was the plan.
Okay. Let me ask you this, Rezzy. In watching the trailer, I'm sure this part really stood out to you, but is there anything besides Lupita's creepy ass laugh that stood out to you most from the trailer?
I think how they creepified, I got 5 on it. Really, this is bad, but whenever I'm talking to my friends about that song, like, we always start, like, you know, like giggling, snickering like a bunch of little girls, because, you know, for people who haven't listened to the song, like, the way the first verse starts is Lunas, I believe his name is, right? Yeah, he says, I take stacks to the face whenever I can. And, you know, this is a big, bad gangster rapper, right? Talking about taking a weed sack, right? But, you know, obviously, like, you can't do that. You can't play around with a word like stack like that.
Right.
Like the way that, like, they took, you know, a joke song for me and my friends, and, like, they made it, like, hella creepy in the context of the trailer. That I can appreciate. So I think that's what stood out to me the most.
And that song really overall fit the trailer if you think about it. That's the crazy part.
Like the melody and just the, I don't know, like, just what they did to that, I don't know, like, it just worked.
Yeah.
It just worked.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm really impressed. Like, you don't expect that, you know, from, like, and this again is a genre, like an ambiguous kind of, like, I don't know exactly what I'm looking at here. You know what I mean? Like, I can't tell. Like, I can't tell if we're gonna get another, you know, social commentary psych thriller with horror elements with comedy, or if this is gonna be like a straight up horror movie, or, like, I don't know yet, right? But yeah, I'm definitely intrigued for sure.
Okay. Now let me ask you this, and you kind of touched on this earlier, but once again I want to get clarification for the people that don't understand these things right away. No offense to anybody, I love all y'all. Do you think that the movie will show how sometimes we are, as in people of, as you put it, melanin tone, how we are in fact our own worst enemy?
I think that we live in a culture of victimhood, and there is this hierarchical structure of societal victimism. Like, me and you are people of color, right? So
right.
We're somewhere on the high end. Now, if either of us were gay, or identified as something that isn't man or woman, or anything like that, we only go up the ladder, right? So, now if you're a person who knows anything about, the history of the country and that, being persecuted and all the horrendous things that have, happened to our race, I think that's attractive. That it's attractive to be like, yes, I'll finally, assert myself, assert my dominance, on the whites and such. When people should just be the bigger people and recognize that, we can't backlash, at white people,
right,
for what their ancestors did to us oh so long ago.
Exactly.
Right. I don't think as people, right, just on a humanist level, we have the right to do that. And I feel like that's exactly what you said about how black people being its own worst enemy. In that regard, we need more structure in how we operate in going about social change. Right? We can't. I don't think rioting and acting a monkey is going to help anything.
Right.
Right. But we need to be more civil than that.
Damn.
I feel like that's what this is going to explore. That's what I hope. I really hope that that's the direction that this takes. Because the material's there. Jordan has the material, and what he's done with Get Out, obviously is absolutely incredible. And there was a lot of material for him there as well. So I don't see why he can't do what I just proposed. But if he doesn't, I won't be mad. By no means. I think we're gonna get a really good film.
Definitely, I definitely agree. Are you gonna before I move on to the last question, brother? Are you gonna see it opening day, or are you gonna wait?
I don't know what I have going on the 22nd. So once I figure that out in regards to like what my family has planned for the weekend, yeah, I'll definitely do my best to. I know Captain Marvel came out Friday, right? And I still haven't seen that yet, but I'll try to be a little bit more adamant on this one.
Right. Yeah, same. Alright, Brother Rezzy, man, I appreciate you collaborating with me on this video, man, and everything.
Absolutely.
And you really have I applaud you, brother. To be so young, you have a really deep understanding of how things work and how things actually are. And man, honestly, I'm honored to have you on my channel, bro. Cause that's what I always try and do is get people that aren't just necessarily just talking, but people that can explain how they feel. And occasionally, brothers like you, brothers like Cap Ramsey, brothers like Fran. Brothers like Peele Swain, brothers like Jordan Ross, shout out to all of them, teach me some things that I might not even known right away as well. You know what I'm saying? We could all learn from each other, if that makes sense.
Two-way street, man. I learned just as much, if not more, from watching you and your videos and all your other wonderful guests who come on and, really show off intellectual understanding of things. And I really appreciate that because that expands my horizons, and about how I perceive things, and you know, it's always great to learn. You know, like you never really stop learning. You know.
Definitely, definitely. Now, Rezzy, this last question is kind of what we've already touched on, but I want to put the stamp on the video.
Yeah.
Do you think Jordan Peele is trying to make an even bigger statement with the movie Us?
I feel like he could. I feel like, you know what? No, he absolutely is. Because if it is what we've been theorizing as of, I don't know if that's the right term to brand this as, but as we've been discussing, that's probably better.
Speculating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's perfect. I feel like if it is a movie based on, you know, black people not only being its worst enemy, but just our relationship with, you know, ourselves, right? Ourselves. I feel like Get Out is a movie that addresses everyone, but I feel like this is gonna, if it is what we've been speculating, it's gonna hit black people in a way that they're not gonna expect. And I feel like that's not necessarily a bad thing, if you know what I'm saying.
True. I definitely know what you mean, bro. Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the conclusion of this video. You guys, please subscribe, like, and comment, and share the video, as I'm sure a lot of you will. Rezzy, man, I appreciate you again collaborating with me on this video. You guys be on the lookout for more collabs between me and brother Rezzy in the future. And you guys have an enjoyable rest of your day, and we'll see you all next time.